All right, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing today? Hope you had a nice weekend. And I hope you guys can hear me as well. Testing. Hi, Pamela. All right. Thank you, Perry. All right. So let's just take a quick look here. Pound Aussie, first trade of the day, hitting its second target. The minimum target is of 10 pips. Was target one, got hit. Target two, 16 pips. Stop has moved to break even. And the pound Aussie off to a good start. Small trade, but delivering the goods nonetheless. There's that green trade we were talking about last week. And then on crude oil, we got to pay attention to volume because we're getting close to rolling over to the October contract. And off to a good start on crude, hitting that first target for a one and done. Look how perfect that was. I hope everyone got filled on that, but it was 16 ticks, $160. It was targeting 66.37. That's exactly where it got to on a one and done session. Then a little bit of price volatility with the V shape. At that point, you should be done. But if not, it got long, flipped over to short, a little bit below the long there for a nice winner as well. But crude is done with that first trade of the morning here, right at 9. So one and done there. Jumping over to the YM. The YM kind of ran out of the chute here prior to the start time, hitting a target. So we're still waiting now for the first trade of the morning on the YM. Just a quick reminder, everybody, tomorrow and Thursday there will be no sessions for us. John is not available. Take a look at soybeans here. And if you wouldn't mind to kindly hit the like button for me, that would be helpful. Pound Aussie pushing lower, hitting its target 3, of course, and then target 4 at 88.90. And it got to 88.90.3, basically missing target 4 by 0.3 of a pip. And the stop has moved down to 89.14. Soybeans did get short, by the way. 1368, targeting 1364 and 3/4 on counterpunch, but we didn't really look at how it may have done. Yeah, so soybeans was short on the white trade, and then flipped to long, and then flipped to short. So a little bit out of sync here because of the stop and reverse on that purple trade, which was unfortunate because otherwise it would have been a one and done session, but now it is short. It's fun to watch soybeans. Of course, we're going to be watching soybeans before too long with Catapult. The Catapult grains is coming along nicely. I'm going to have a boot camp in early September on that. Good morning, Armando. Good morning, John. Dawn. Good to see you guys this morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. We're still waiting for our first trade in the Dowie Mini. So a quick out of the gate loss on the Russell, and then a big home run for trade number 2. So you could see the Russell I have to start working on a catapult plan for the Russell. It's been on my list for a while. And soybeans moving in the right direction. If anybody's interested in learning about that. Counterpunch works great. Start looking at catapult before too long. And some nice trading on catapult actually with heating oil this morning. God, I just can't show everything. Pull this over really quick, looking at this on another monitor. You can see heating oil, 1, 2 winners in a row. And then I guess it stopped because of the power of quitting settings. But that's a 2 and done right there. You can see it. That's not the right data window. There's the data window. That one starts at 9:05. All right, so we got our eyes on the Dowie Mini. So far, we're flat. Dowie Mini is off 200 points this morning to start. A little bit of weakness. A long list. Pamela, my list never stops growing. It grows faster than I can knock things off of it. But I'll tell you, it beats being bored. So, Spotlight, of course, a pickier strategy, missing this move down, and there's a reason why. It never got overbought. Never got overbought, so there wasn't a place to get short. And there's no proximity, there's no exhaustion dots near any of our lines. So sometimes Spotlight's just going to take a pass when the conditions aren't there, and that's why you see gray bars coming down here. And probably a long trade is the most likely next trade. Well, maybe not. Could get a short off that 20 SMA perhaps. Let's watch it and see. And you can see soybeans did come down and hit that target and then stopped out, break even. Definitely some fast action in that market this morning. And I believe I should have a catapult unleaded here. Here we go. Catapult unleaded. Because I want to keep an eye on the YM. And then Spotlight unleaded. Let's look at that one first. So lots of action right at 9. Little bit of trouble here with a couple quick losses. The yellow trade losing, the blue trade also taking a partial loss, and then flipping over to the pink trade for a couple strong targets, 47 and 75 ticks, and then the blue trade also with 52 ticks. Not quite. Well, yeah, it actually got to target 2 as well. So those 4 trades should be power of quitting with unleaded, with Spotlight. And there is a short on the YM off the blue line. May have come down too far too fast, but that's the short. 35,203 is the short entry, and its stop is at 231. It's targeting 183 and 172. So we'll see if it could test these lows here. There could be a long trade forming as well, which would be a stop and reverse. Lows of the day, 35,197. So it would definitely have to make new lows. And it probably went too far too fast. I don't know. There is a stop and reverse. A long would be, that would be at 226. A long at 226. Unless it cancels, of course. $226 would be targeting 242 and 252, and the stop would be at 199. The short's still going. At this point, anything could happen. One more close below the line will cancel that long trade. So, yep, so the long trade is canceled. The short trade is still going. You can see it right on that 35,200 number, that major key level, finding support right in here. See if it can break through. If it breaks through, it can give us another leg lower. There it goes. So now we got to get to our money management level of 185. And we got to 185. So move your stop to break even. If you're in the YM and you just hit your objective target of 183. So that'll be one and done as well. Stop should be at break even. That's a 20 tick winner. Not the biggest of trades. Take what the market wants to give you. It is one and done, and it is over. That's how it's done. I mean, you know, we'll take it. First trade of the morning, hitting that minimum target objective for the trade plan. Done. See you tomorrow. So, unleaded with Spotlight. Took 4 trades, but it got it done. I know there's some Smart Core on Discord's doing well. One and done this morning with Catapult Energies. Scalping out his one and done. Just looking at the Discord channel. In crude oil. So not in unleaded or heating oil, but crude oil. I forget when this one starts. It's hard to keep track sometimes of all these details. But you can see unleaded now in a nice short right there. Coming off a few good trades in a row here. What time does heating oil open? You know, I don't know. It just trades. It kind of goes. I mean, when you're looking at the charts on heating oil, I mean, it's like it opens at, let me see if I can find the time, but it's sometime during the European hours. Okay, so we went from the 15th to the... Yeah, it opened up Sunday. Well, Sunday here. Let's see. It closed at... So New York time, 6 p.m. New York time, Sunday. Yesterday. That's when it opened. At least that's when the bar... Looks like it opened right here. See, I'm looking at the chart. I mean, when in doubt, open the chart, go find yesterday's close, and then go find the first bar of the next day. Where you can see the date right here at the bottom, 8:15. And the time says 1800. That's 6 p.m. exchange time. So that's New York time. So it's Sunday here, but it's Monday on the other side of the world. I don't know if that's your question, but that's when it opened. Of course, we're interested with that trade plan that we were looking at. That trade plan starts at 9. Let me just double check it, because it depends on... Each plan's got some differences, but this one starts at 9:05. The one I showed you a moment ago. This one here, 9:05 is when the trade plan starts. So there you can see it was, that one was at 9:06, 1 minute later. Hitting all 4 targets, followed up by a second trade. And just to double check the power of quitting formula used for this plan. Yeah, this one is 2 winners and a positive result with 5 trades total to get there. Just so happened it was the first 2 trades in a row this morning. That's what this plan is. Obviously, there are variations of the theme. 9:30. I don't know what you mean by 9:30. Is that a plan? One of the other plans that starts at 9:30? I got different ones. Just depends on what chart I'm... let's see, here's another one, by the way. So this one's interesting, because this one's got 3 trades in a row here. And this one must be the 9:30 one. This one has won 3 in a row. Let's look at this. This one's different. This one is 6 winners and a positive result, up to 6 trades total or 4 losses, whichever happens first. So this one's totally different than the other one, right? And this one does start... Oh, this one starts at 9:05 also. Huh. Okay. One of the things about having the trade assist is you just have so many choices and options, and you could just figure out stuff. What works best for you. But you could see here the 3 winners in a row. Just been getting so much amazing feedback from about Catapult from a lot of our members. They really love it. So the one we're looking at, the one with the 6 winners in a row, this just happened. I mean, it's hard to see the significance of it because there's so many trades in there, but today it just hit new all-time equity highs for the lifespan of the trade plan. And usually you see with power of quitting that first, one and done always gives you the best results, but this has just been so dynamic. The 6 winners is just hitting that 2+ profit factor and the 75% win rate. and hitting that average net profit per trade right around where we want to see it. And I mean, you can get higher by trading less probably, but still, these are just amazing numbers over, 650 trades. So that's pretty significant. And then the other one that we looked at that was only 2 winners, for example, just to compare, the profit factor is not even as high, nor is the win rate. I mean, it's not bad. It's still pretty good. But you can see that it hasn't hit a new equity high for a while. It was back there in July 23rd. So that's interesting, right? The more trades with the other plan doing better than the one with the fewer trades, at least for now. So it's interesting. Heating oil is one of those enigma markets. It's just so hot and moves so well. It's perfect for Catapult. Yeah, so that one, Claude, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a different plan. I don't have that on this computer to pull up. I work on a few different computers. Hey Mo, nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well over there in the Netherlands. Good morning, Ron. If you guys wouldn't mind, please hit the like button. I've become a YouTuber, like it or not. It is what it is. Claude, I got to get that basic plan so that I could show it. I just have to transfer over the workspace from my other computer to this one so we could take a look. So just while I have all your attention, I want to remind everybody that coming up very soon, 10 days, on the 26th, we're going to have our Trade Assist Automation Catapult Advanced Boot Camp, which is all about the automation, which I just showed you a little bit of with those 2 heating oil examples. Of course, it could be used on grains, it could be used on the E-mini catapults and anything else that comes out later. I always love doing those boot camps because they're just so much in there. There's so much. They're so informative, and it's such an amazing tool when you learn how to use it properly. It could be used incorrectly as well, so it definitely requires care and using it the right way, which is why I do the boot camp. I liken it to the hydraulic nail gun analogy that I've used time and time again, where it's a power tool that just helps you become way more productive, but if you don't learn how to use it properly, it's dangerous. You can shoot yourself in the big toe or between the eyes, who knows where, hopefully none of those places, if you get educated and learn how to use it first before you load real nails, right? Just same thing with the automation. You have to learn it. You have to learn how to use it. And no matter how good a strategy is, it will be dangerous in the hands of an ill-prepared trader. It's just the way it is. So that's why these boot camps are important, and learning how to use the tools properly are important. Once you do, you could do so much with it. So you could see this is what a catapult scalp and run trade's supposed to look like, where you can grab the targets and then you hit the runners. And that usually happens, and you can start to learn to look at chart patterns and see when you can get a clue as to when that might occur. And there are a lot of clues on this chart, because it starts rolling over and you get these bearish bars each time poking up to make a lower high. And then you could see the rolling over. It's finding support on the 50, the 50, the 50, the 50. It finally breaks below it, comes back, retests it, makes a lower high again. And even the setup is a bearish bar. Anytime you get a wick that stabs up and then closing with a body down that's, not as long as the wick, or, somewhere in that 50% range or less, that's pretty bearish. It's a real bearish pattern, and then it just capitulates and just drops. So you can learn from this sort of behavior here and see when you start noticing it, especially after some consolidation and tightness, and the pressure's building up. But when you see the bulls continually try to push it higher and fail, making lower highs, lower lows, at some point you could expect a capitulation. And when you learn to anticipate that, maybe those trades become part of your arsenal, something you could practice. But you see it over and over again, and these charts do it really well. Again, pulling over the heating oil chart, very similar. The 50 moving average gives you a clear marking of support and resistance, and you often see the price vacillating around it. But when it's vacillating around it and it can't get higher and fails to make new highs and makes new lows instead, at some point you can get a capitulation like what's happening now in heating oil here as well. And again, these are the bars you look for. Stabbing up into your resistance with the wick and the failure and the close below the line with the smaller body. Those are very bearish bars. You have one on your setup too, this time up into the catapult line. Several in a row, really, this one as well. They're just bearish, making a lower high and then the rolling over. Boom. It's not going to always do that. I mean, yeah, it could have went higher, but the lines are pointing down, the momentum's down. So if you learn how to spot those situations, it could be very beneficial. It takes practice. You have to focus on it. I find that when I talk to myself, I'm talking to the market, talking to myself, thinking it through, then I know I'm in the zone. That's when I usually do my best trading. My family thinks I'm crazy. Pound Aussie finally pushing through its target 4. That stop held. Although when you miss it by 0.3 of 1 pip, you probably want to take profit and not fight over the last few breadcrumbs. But anyone staying in that trade was rewarded. So hitting all 4 targets, trailing lower, still going. It's a nice session this morning. Got everything pretty much winning. Claude, I haven't really set the time yet, but what I'm anticipating is it will be fairly early. Well, early for me. Remember, I'm on the west coast of the USA, so probably going to start at 8 a.m. my time. So that would be 11 a.m. New York time. And I realize Thursday is a trading session, but it has to be Thursday. There's just no other day. And I'm getting ready to travel. In fact, I'm going to be headed over to your side of the world, Claude. I'm going across the pond, and I'm going to be over there in Europe for a bit, doing some work with a programmer friend of mine working on a new strategy, brand spanking new. Super excited about it. but I can't say more other than I'm going to be over on your side of the world. So maybe I'll get some more sleep for a change. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Nothing like starting your trading at 2 p.m. in the afternoon to hit that New York time, give or take, right? Versus getting up when it's still nighttime out, like what I have to do over here all the time. Poor me. I still got a few more spots open for the recent mentorship program that I've restarted. I don't know if any of you are interested in that. If you are, just maybe shoot me an email or let me know, and I could have someone get in touch with you about that. But I'm really excited. I got some great new students I've been working with and already seeing results. I'm really thrilled about that. And some of you are on my mentorship program, and we haven't talked in a while, so make sure you reach out and schedule a call with me if that's you as well. Get you back on track in case you're not on track. Maybe you are on track. So also, I'm just curious who's trading what, because what I'm finding, obviously we're limited with our real estate here in the trade room. There's only so much I can show you, and it's hard to like flip back and forth between this and that. And I'm trying to cover a little bit of everything for everyone, and maybe that's just not doing everyone the best service. So if like there's a majority of people doing something versus another, start rethinking a few things. But you know, there's a reason why we stick to this crude oil chart and this unleaded gas and this Dowie Mini with Spotlight Master Suite. They just do so well and have done so well for so long. It's hard to get off of them. Now Catapult is kind of forcing its way in because it's been just on fire and continues to be. And then Counterpunch Trader, which has just been steady as a rock for so many years, it's still multiple strategies ago. I mean, it's been out for 7+ years. Not too many of you are asking questions about it, so I'm almost thinking that maybe not even to bother too much with Counterpunch unless there's specific questions regarding it. I mean, it's still a great strategy, but I don't know. It's just hard to know because there's just so many choices now. Good choices. It's good to have choices. Figure out what works best for you, because that's not going to be the same as what works best for the next person. Yeah, Armando SPT. Well, we got the 3 here. 4 really, Pound Aussie. And SPT is Spotlight Power Trader, of course, which is now the Master Suite. Ron says Catapult Heating Oil and Crude. Master Suite, Spotlight Master Suite, Crude Oil, Spotlight, YM, and Crude. So yeah, definitely got those going on. What about Spotlight Unleaded Gas? I mean, that's just been such a staple in here for so long because it's just, I mean, if you were to take the time and build a UTA spreadsheet with this trade plan with unleaded gas, I think your eyes would pop out of your head. I mean, the thing just continues to kill it. It really does. It's just hard to get away from something so good. But now we have Catapult, which is like stealing the show in so many ways. I don't know. I guess we could flip around from chart to chart, but you guys got to ask me stuff so I know what to go to sometimes. It's just, there's, you know, I don't want to bombard everyone with too much also. That's no good. I feel like the Baskin Robbins ice cream shop sometimes. 31 flavors. Or what is it? Is it 31? I forget. A lot of flavors. So just my agenda over the next month or so, I'm working on the Catapult Advanced Boot Camp, of course. That's coming up a week from Thursday. And then a couple weeks after that, I think exactly 2 weeks after that, on September 9th, another Thursday, that is going to be our Catapult Grains Boot Camp. Catapult Grains on September 9th. And there's still a chance to get in on that. The price has gone up a little, but it's still discounted. But grains have been really exciting, and there's some markets I'm going to want to bring in for that too, actually. So we're going to I have to figure out how to use the trade room in a way that's the best service for you guys, and then cover some bases, because Catapult Grains is really interesting, and I think those of you who are getting involved with it are going to like it. Catapult Crude. Yeah, it's hard to do crude. I mean, I got Spotlight, and it's so good, and it's been in here for so long. I guess if I could pull up a Catapult Crude chart as well, and we can just kind of keep an eye on that too. It's just hard to do it all. My Marty Feldman eyeballs. Some of you know who Marty Feldman is. There's a picture of Marty Feldman in this chat box. Any of you know where it is? No pun intended. That was a coincidence, actually, that I mentioned Marty Feldman. But there he is, right in our chat box. If you look at the list of chats, you will see a picture of him. And that's what I actually feel like sometimes, trying to cover all this stuff. But Gavin, I'll get a Catapult Crude chart that we can keep an eye on. And Claude, that one and done heating oil chart. One and done's always good. It's always nice to be able to get your work done. Bing, bang, boom. Look at unleaded gas. I mean, sometimes when Catapult is hitting, it is really hitting. After that big short, now getting long and hitting all its targets again. And while we're on the subject, I guess I could just grab other windows and pull them over, but heating oil also. So heating oil, and remember, this is the power of quitting 6, where you can get literally 6 winners or 4 losses, 6 trades total. That's what this plan is, whichever happens first. Well, there's 4 winners in a row. That's why this plan works, because you get those 6 winners in a row sometimes. I don't want to jinx this, but we're at 4 winners in a row and 2 more total trades allowed with this plan after this trade concludes. Maybe after 4 winners, that's enough, but I mean, that's the plan. And again, and this trade is a new equity high, both these trades. Like, we didn't look at these a moment ago. We looked at it after the first 2 winners. And now we can just see with every winner a new equity high being made on the plan, just reaching higher, higher, higher. And that now, it was 651 trades. It should be 653. It is, see? And it just pushed the win rate up. And look at how well balanced the longs and shorts. I mean, it's just, this is spectacular. You don't see this very often. 75% up and down. Net profits the same up and down. This is not with money management. It's just single contract. It's 2 positions only. So you can imagine, as you're growing your account, increasing the position size, and what that would do to that equity curve is remarkable. It really is, because you usually don't see a plan that's so robust that you want to take more trades. I've always been preaching less. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. And that's usually the case. But every now and then you get this enigma. You get a maverick. You get something that's just flies against the norm. And that's kind of what this is, because this not only does it fly, as you can see, but also just that concept of less is more. You have a little more leeway with that. I mean, yeah, 6 trades is still less if you compare it to 20, but that's a lot. I mean, it's more than we see with just about everything else, which I find just remarkable. And it's nice to see that from time to time, something that just behaves so nicely. And I'm not just talking about today. I mean, today is a session where everything is working. You can see it. You can just look at the charts and see winner, 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 winner. Even though the trade plan's over, everything's working. So, but Catapult, we saw that was 653 trades. It wasn't just today. And you can see Spotlight kicking butt as well right here. Winner, winner, winner. In fact, the 10 a.m. mini session, right? So you have the 9 a.m. mini session was one and done. The 10 a.m. mini session right here on this blue setup, you wait for it to come back up. So this is a great example of that reversal trade where you don't jump in immediately. Of course, the time of day isn't right because it's not quite 10 a.m. But even if it was, it's trending down, and jumping into a reversal without some sort of a little extra price action confirmation, the odds aren't nearly as good. But when it comes back down like this and tests the low and fails to make a new low and makes a higher low and then comes up again, that's where your higher odds winner is on the reversal. And it just so happens, coincidentally, it's also the start time of the mini session. So it's like sometimes just everything lines up and is in perfect synchronization, like a ballet. It's like poetry in motion here. It pops right on up and gives you that. I mean, you can't write the script any better. But I wanted to take the example here and show you, because I know a lot of you get frustrated with some of these reversals. So the thing about Spotlight to remember is that oversold, overbought indicator is sensitive. That's partly why it's so good. But it also means you have to be clever and look for that extra price action confirmation. I like to see it come down and test the lows first, fail, or even break through and fail to follow through, which often will lead to a new setup to go long. But the point is that it triggers in, and now you get in sync with it. You just adjust that entry up a tiny bit above the spike there and force it to push through at your start time, and then you're off and running. After it tests the new lows, that's the extra confirmation that makes a huge difference in that setup. And you'll see that the odds go up if you use that idea. You will miss maybe some fast-moving V-shaped reversals. You give up on some of those. I know those can lead to big moves too, but you also eliminate getting in on a reaction when you really want to go with the action, not the reaction. Because a lot of times those reversal trades come after a leg down, a reaction into our line, or 20 SMA, where you really want to get that second action move lower. But it may not be a reaction. It might be an action move in the opposite direction. So you get the extra confirmation first. The failure to make a new low, the failure to follow through after piercing through support and then turning up. Those two things make a big difference on these setups, especially when the market's come down for a while, which it has, right? So those are all things to get good at and practice and learn and pay attention to as well. Apart from what I just showed you in the rolling over type of trade, this is a reversal. It's totally different. But you got clues here. You can see it. And then the rules of the trade plan help too when it like fits perfectly like it did this morning on that 10 a.m. start time. Hopefully that resonates. It makes sense. You could see that fourth trade in a row on heating oil. I mean, that's kind of similar too, because you can see it came down and tested the lows here, put that little double bottom right there, and then the setup came. I mean, that's kind of perfect. Notice the difference between this kind of setup versus the rolling over and capitulation concept that I just told you earlier about these shorts, especially the one that really moves. But these are the scalp and run setups that Catapult has making quite the name for itself with, because these have low risk. I mean, if you look at the trade, the data window would help. You want to focus on targets 3 and 4. And this is a unique plan because of the 10 tick entry. That's part of its success. If you didn't have a 10 tick entry, then trades like this one would have been a loser. But the 10 tick entry filters out a lot of the noise. See, you can see that space right up in here. If it was a 2 tick entry, it would have got long. But 10 ticks keeps you in a safe place. So you give up a little bit on the targets. You give up, and the scalp targets aren't going to give you the huge risk reward ratios like we've seen with the tighter entries. But it's the runner part of the trade that makes the difference. And if you go to targets 3 and 4, you're still pretty good, because target 3 is nearly 1-to-1 and target 4 is 1.3-to-1. And that's adequate when you're winning at a huge percentage of the time to do really well, and then get that runner position on there because they happen so frequently. In fact, you can make an argument to not even scalp. If you only have a single position, maybe you hold out and just do the runners. You'll probably grow your account faster. You just have to be willing to take break evens more often. When it hits a target and then it breaks even, that's okay. It's just like fishing. You just got to be patient until you hit the mother lode. The runner happens in this market like almost every day. Mo, am I going to go to the Netherlands? I would love to, but I don't have plans this time for that. I mean, COVID, just kind of changes everything. Normally, I would swing by. And I guess it's not out of the question. It is possible, but so far not in my plans, unfortunately. I'd definitely come and see you otherwise. I may end up in Switzerland, though. Might head south, actually. Not sure yet. Definitely the backpack trader side to my nature is experiencing a little bit of wanderlust. But my reason for going over there is working with a very talented programmer, hands-on. We're going to be in the trenches creating something new, and I'm excited about that. I'll be right back. If you have any questions, think about it. Let me know in a moment, and I'll see you in about 3 minutes, maybe 5. All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Hello to you, Brian from Australia. How's it going? Nice to see you today. Just a reminder, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the YouTube thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you subscribe, you're going to get notifications. If you hit the bell button next to the subscription button, you get notified when we go live. I also have 3 new videos. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check them out. Big answers to the all-important questions. And I discussed 3 different ones on 3 different videos. So some of you are going to really like those videos. Of course, exploring more what you can do with the Trade Assist automation with Catapult, which is timely, obviously, with that boot camp coming up in about 10 days. So this is the time of the session when if you have any questions that have yet to be answered, you should ask them. As we're getting ready to wrap this up, everything winning. Lots of winners on just about everything. I mean, actually, it was on everything. Pound Aussie still going on that short trade. So I realize there's a little bit of delay. I'll give you guys a moment to collect your thoughts and think if you have any final questions. Don't forget, no session tomorrow, no session Thursday. John is not available this week. Much deserved holiday for him. I'll be back on Wednesday. Of course, the crude oil report. And let's see, just looking at the calendar, the following week, we should be back to normal except for the boot camp. We won't have a session, obviously, next Thursday either, this Thursday or next Thursday. Let's see, what am I missing? We got to start paying attention to crude oil. Let's see, crude oil right now is still at 191,000, but we have to watch the volume tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Wednesday, we will be on the CLVs and Victor 2-1 contract, the October contract. I believe it's V. Probably double check my cheat notes after all these years. Kelly Bundy syndrome is alive and well. Yes, V is in Victor. So it's really a matter of, just committing to the rollover. Tomorrow we'll probably see migration. We'll be seeing volume declining on the September contract and increasing on the October contract. And when you see the October contract with more volume, that's when it's time to roll over. And then, just looking, FOMC on Wednesday, the day of our crude oil report, obviously, the FOMC meeting minutes is happening. Gavin with the yes for V, thank you. I got my little binder with my all-important cheat notes, always within reaching distance. I could just grab it and look really fast. But I think I got them pretty much memorized. This every now and then I'm like, what was it again? All right, so I don't see any other questions. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, and I will be back on Wednesday. Again, don't forget, no session tomorrow, so hope to see you guys back here on Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed the session. Have a great day, everybody. See you then.